Number 7. Again, I'll turn it over to City Manager Ron Bernal.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a follow-up item to the last one, whereby the council would be authorizing an appropriate budget adjustment for the 2 positions that were just approved. So Nikki, our Administrative Services Director, can finish up the report.
Yes, this is approving 1 Deputy Director Public Works Director 2 and 1 Assistant City Engineer 2 position and authorizing the appropriate budget adjustment. Also with that, this will be an internal promotional recruitment. If a Director of Public Works City Engineer is filled, these positions will no longer exist, and whoever attains these positions will go back to their original position of hire.
Very good. Are there any questions? If there are no questions, do I have a motion?
I'll go ahead.
Councilmember Okerchuk.
Make a motion, the City Council adopt a resolution approving 1 Deputy Public Works Director 2 position and 1 Assistant City Engineer 2 position and authorize the appropriate budget adjustment.
There's a motion, second by Councilmember Thorpe. If there's no discussion, please cast your votes.
There are 5 affirmative votes.
Thank you. Number 8. Oh, did I skip 7? Item number 7. Turn it over to City Manager Ron Bernal.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Parks and Recreation Director Nancy Kaiser will be making this presentation related to a request for funding special events in fiscal year 17-18.
Thank you, Mr. Bernal. Mayor, members of the council. In 2015, the City Council approved a new special event policy that identified the recognized community events here in Antioch, but it also updated the processes and procedures for bringing special events into public spaces here in Antioch. Included in that special event policy was an opportunity for all groups and organizations in Antioch to come before the City Council and request city support and direct sponsorship. The process is outlined such that we are asking the groups to come before the city in the February and March timeframe so that any hearings by the City Council and recommendations could then be embedded into the budget in the future. Previously, the process was groups came throughout the year and requested funding, and if that funding was granted, then those funds had to come from reserves and the budget had to be adjusted. So our purpose in bringing these items before you at this time of year is so that we can all plan together and make sure that they're accurately reflected in the budget. Celebrate Antioch Foundation gets some points and some kudos because they're our first organization that is following through in the process of the new policy, and it's working very, very well. They met with city staff. They identified, what they were interested in seeking funding for their events, 2 particular events, the July 4th fireworks and the Holiday Delights. They created their proposal, submitted it in a timely fashion. We bring it before you. So we are asking the City Council to, again, review their proposal, discuss the request for funding, and then provide direction for staff in the 2017-2018 budget. A little bit of history. There is no funding for the city to support groups and organizations with direct funding. As recently stated, in the past, this has been adjusted from reserves into the operating budget. The city does support a number of community and citywide special events with support services, police and traffic management, public works support, administration, marketing, and promotions. But we do not have funding, again, for direct requests. I believe that Celebrate Antioch Foundation is here this evening if you have any questions, and staff is also available to answer any of your questions.
Any questions, comments? Are there public comments on this item?
None received.
Can we hear from Celebrate Antioch? Is that appropriate?
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
Good evening. This is Wayne Harrison, President of Celebrate Antioch Foundation, and I am the treasurer of Celebrate Antioch Foundation. I think, as you well know, we've started this back in 2011, 2012, when the city had immense financial challenges, and we had gone 2 years without a 4th of July celebration in Antioch, and I think very much missed by the community. So we came together as a group of volunteers and citizens and tried to figure this out on our own, which was very, very difficult. We didn't know that fireworks require the approval of Homeland Security. So, but we did, and we had a tremendous celebration that first year we were downtown Antioch. Probably had 15,000 people come down that day. It was just incredible. We didn't know how many to anticipate, and it was really a great event. And it's gone on every year since then. We moved it over to the fairgrounds the third year. I think this is our 6th year, mainly because it gave us just, there's security, there's perimeter fencing around it. They have other amenities such as restrooms, electrical stages, things that just made it more feasible and more economical for us to try to be able to do, rather than trying to control things down here for the city. And I think more of a challenge to our police department and our city works department too. So we've been very successful in having that event there. We still have our downtown parade. We will do that again this year. It starts at 11 o'clock on July 4th, and then our event at the fairgrounds will start at 4 o'clock. I keep wanting to say 3. 4 o'clock, and once again, we'll have a large car show, kids zone area. We'll have live entertainment. We'll have a lot of food vendors, craft vendors. Typically, Paradise Skate is open. We might even have roller derby going during the day there. So it's a pretty exciting day for the community. It's a chance for many people in East County to get together. There's not a lot of places and things to do on 4th of July for some of the cities, and we get people coming, I think, to the fairgrounds, not just in Antioch, but Brentwood and Pittsburgh and all. And so it's really quite an event, and thousands come at the end of the evening for our fireworks show. And we have the guy who does our fireworks is actually a hometown boy, but operates out of New York City. And I think some of you have seen the fireworks, and we think it's one of the best in the Bay Area. It really does a great job, and it's to music and all. So we're coming back to you. Ms. Kaiser had asked us to combine our Holiday Delights and our 4th of July funding for this year, and just with one request for our 17-18 support. So that's what we're bringing to you this evening for your support. So we're open to any questions you may have about our funding or...
Councilmember Thorpe.
Yeah, your net income is 31,000, close to 32,000.
That would be our operating income right now, right? So there's...
How have you been able to build this reserve?
Well, because we've had tremendous success with our event, and it's been well received. We have had 0 incidents of safety issues or criminal issues at our events, and because of that, we've have ongoing corporate support. It's become much easier. I simply send an email or make a phone call now, and we're already into their budgets, which is really, really great. So we have ongoing support, and we're hoping by continuing that we can, continue to add events to our 4th of July, step up our game for Holiday Delights, maybe have a bigger ice rink this coming year, and, do more events for the city. We know that the city finances don't really allow for the city to do a lot of community events like they used to do. So it's, our purpose in forming our 501c3 was strictly to be able to support the city and trying to continue what we think are important parts of having a really healthy community.
Thank you.
One of the other things is that we've had a couple of donors that we've had to wait for donations in the past. They've come forward with their donations very early in the year, which is added to that amount that we have in reserve.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be the same number. You'll be using a lot of this money for...
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we have, it's very fluid. We have some of the money has already been spent. We had our down payment that we had to do for advertising. We had a down payment for our fireworks. We had fairgrounds. Our expenses have already been paid, but we have ongoing bills that come up. The fireworks are approximately, it's $20,000 just for the fireworks, but the security for the fireworks is probably another $5,000, which is ridiculous, but nevertheless, that's what it takes. We have to have those fireworks have to be monitored by security, 24 hours a day. And then we use private security for our event at the fairgrounds, which has been fantastic. I mean, they operate when people are coming in the gates, and then also they're on bikes and fluid throughout the whole fairgrounds, which I think makes a lot of people feel safe for the event and all too.
Councilmember Ogorchak.
You know, I've been doing this. I mean, we've had the fireworks here for years. It's just a part of Antioch. You know, growing up with it, it was on the water. One time, it was back at the fairgrounds, and it's been back on the water. It's just part of the Antioch history to me. And you're correct, Joy, that by the end of the evening, the seating area at the fairgrounds, there's just no room to move. It's packed. People love it. You can come to the bridge and sit on the bridge and just watch the fireworks of Antioch. It's part of Antioch. The amount is just kind of stifling right now. I mean, it's not a lot, but it is a lot when we're looking at the budget, and the budget's coming up for review. Is there not any money in the community fund?
The Antioch Community Foundation has provided funding to the July 4th event for 2 years, $10,000 towards the 2015 event and $10,000 towards the 2016 event. And in discussions with Celebrate Antioch Foundation, we anticipate that they'll be providing a proposal to the Antioch Community Foundation in the same amount for 2017.
Okay, for the 10,000 then, right? Okay. Thank you for all you do. I know there's a lot of hard work that you do, and this is all year. It's not just this time of year. You two do a lot for our city, and just so you know, you're very much appreciated.
I appreciate that, Lori. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would like to ask some questions.
Sure.
And this comes from a heart of gratitude, but I'm gonna ask some questions.
Okay.
First off, in 2014 or 2015, you asked for 15. In 2016, it looks like you asked for 20. It looks like now you're asking for 25. I'm not understanding the increase this year. It looks like the total budget for fireworks last year, based on your finances, for a total expense, the total expense was $36,000 for the total event, and you have $32,000 in your reserves now. So I'm trying to understand the increase in the 5 from the 20 to the 25 when you have a reserve of 32 and the total budget of expense in 2016 from January to December was 36. That's where I'm not understanding.
Well, our budget typically almost every year is about $55,000. That's what we shoot for, because we still have ongoing expenses, anticipating here still that have to be paid is approximately, we still have $14,000 to go out for fireworks. $5,000 is budgeted for entertainment and our sound systems. $7,000 for security for days events and fireworks. $2,000 for awards and trophies. $5,000 for our kids zones and inflatables. $5,000 for advertising and miscellaneous, approximately $5,000.
Well, I see all those. I'm looking at your 2016 January through December P&Ls, and when I look at those, I'm seeing a total expense for the year from January to December of $36,000. An income in that same year of $68,000 and spent expenses for the same year of $36,000, which means there's an overage of $32,000 in that fiscal year, January to December. And so I'm not seeing the purpose of the increase from 20 to 25 this year, because it looks, and I want to support you. I'm just looking at it and going, okay, there's an increase of 5, and yet last year you were able to raise $68,000. Kudos, great job. And spent 36 of that. So if we're giving you 25,000, the total expenses from 2016 was 36,000. Based on, I'm just reading your numbers.
Right, for the profit and loss.
Right.
Right.
So I'm trying to understand why the increase from 20 to 25.
Well, basically, Nancy asked us to combine both 4th of July and holiday delights together, so that's the reason we actually went for 25,000.
So how much do you normally ask for holiday delights? Normally, do you ask for 20 from fireworks and come back for holiday delights and ask for another amount?
Typically, we haven't asked for anything for holiday delights other than the public service. We already get for the police services and then public works for some of that. But, what we're trying to do, Mayor, is to keep, in order for us to stay solvent and keep going, we have to have, we don't want to take every penny of our money and use that every single year.
I'm not asking you to. I'm just
Okay.
looking at numbers last year where we gave you 20, You
Right.
were able to raise 64 and you only spent 36. Great job. I'm not. But
Right.
now why all of a sudden if you're going to go after 64 again, is it going to go from 36 to some other number?
Well,
Last year, your total expenses were 36,000. You were able to raise 64,000. So I'm just trying to understand how you're raising 64 and only spending
our
36.
expenses were a lot more than 36,000, so,
All that I can go on is your P&Ls.
well, we have we have a bookkeeper who runs, it's important to have a third party, independent party who does our books and all. We also use Bob Tiemann, who is our accountant in Tyne. He does our tax returns and all, so, I'd have to look back at that honestly, Sean, and see if I can.
I think there's a mistake there because.
Fireworks by themselves.
Fireworks is 20,000 plus, the fairgrounds was 13,000. So therefore, you're actually, you're going over what she showed in the P&L.
Is there a way that we could continue this for 2 weeks so that you could get those corrected so that I could look at numbers? I mean, I'm just looking at a profit here of 31,000 for the year.
Absolutely. In fact, I just recently had her run a profit and loss and a transaction detail report too, which was from like 2011 all the way through up to current date. And that might also help you too. I think that might give you some more information. Frankly, I'm not a QuickBooks person, so I really count on her to be able to put this stuff together.
I would rather not vote on it tonight and continue it and let you come back with numbers that show it to me so that I can actually see that the 25 makes sense, because right now the 25 doesn't make sense based on the numbers that I'm looking at.
I'm absolutely fine with that. As you can see, we're not at a zero right now, so we have working capital as far as going forward. But
and I'd be happy to sit down and go over this and show you what I'm seeing,
absolutely,
and so that you can go back to either Tim and Kaiser or whoever and get it corrected.
Right. So do you think a 2011 from inception to current transaction detail report would probably meet your needs?
If you gave 2 or 3, I mean, all that I'm seeing is 2016, and normally a 1 year would be enough. If you were showing that you raised 64 and you spent 68 and you're asking for another 5, it would make perfect sense. Or if you raised 64 and you spent 64, it would make sense. To have you showing that you raised 68,000 and only spent 36, that's where for me, when I look at the financials, it doesn't make sense that we're actually asking for another 5 on top of that. So if this is an error, let's get this corrected and bring it back so that we can look at those numbers and make a decision based on that.
I don't think it's an error, and it may just be in the way that's being reported.
Well, let's look at the last 3 years then.
Yeah,
just so that it makes sense.
Let's do a P&L and then a transaction detail report for the last 5 years, and I think that might help you make a decision. I'm completely okay with that. Are you?
That would be my request of council, is to continue this for.
Our bookkeeper is actually on a cruise right now. She'll be back, I think, on Sunday. So I will have her run a new report with that information, and then if it's okay, I'll send it over to Nancy, and then you guys can take a look at that and bring it back or let us know.
The recommendation is only to receive the report and provide any feedback and direction to staff, take any other action, just providing staff with what direction you'd like to receive at a later point during your budget hearing.
Yes. Councilmember Tiscarino.
If you have no objections of continuing this, I have no objections as well. We have a past history of supporting your cause, and as Councilmember Orgachuk stated, we've been those that experienced this wonderful event for many years. We want to continue to do so. But yeah, I am curious to know what the cost of business is, and I know that cost of vendors do increase, and I know that's why you justify some of the numbers that you're asking for. So it's always good to see them on paper as well. But to clarify, I think for me to get a better understanding, the 25,000 was including the holiday delights, or
That's
so
correct.
yeah. So and in prior instances, you haven't really put a number on holiday. It was mainly just trying to fundraise to get the program going, right?
Right.
So
we just essentially used, Celebrate Antioch 4th of July funds to do the Holiday Delights. And frankly, there's not a lot of expenses tied to Holiday Delights, although, as we talked about, we might want to try to, step up our game with a larger ice rink or something like that, where it would be
Displays and things like that. Yeah.
So
and very
that's our thought.
supportive,
And, we really want to work with the Rivertown Business Association too, and supporting them and what they're trying to do with a lot of the downtown events. So, so the more we work together, I think the better it will be. And I don't have any problem. And what is important, I think, is this event too, is, we offer this free to the community. There's absolutely no charge to come to the event. So we want to be able to continue that. So there's no expense. The entertainment's free. Really, when they come to the fairgrounds, there's just, our expectation is that they purchase food from the vendors and have a good time. So that's what we're trying to continue.
Yeah, so essentially what I'm hearing and getting more clear on is you're really asking for the same. It's just we're including Holiday Delights as an additive. And, that's okay for me. So I'm willing to continue because I think it makes sense to put the numbers down so we can really see it. And so we can justify the cost, because I think from now on we're going to be looking at costs very seriously, and better, if you can start it and give us all this information, I think makes a lot more sense for us to pursue. So.
And we're completely aware of the financial situation the city and all's in, so we want to be able to be very.
That's why we want to continue.
Be able to
we
continue.
want you to continue. So.
Okay.
I personally am not opposed to this from this standpoint. So we're looking for a motion to receive this report. Oh, Monica, did you have comments? I'm sorry.
Just a quick thing. Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of continuing this, because I had pretty much the same questions where I'm like, well, they raised this much and what's the difference? And so definitely want to see that. Definitely, and this is just a suggestion from mine, because I know entertainment was over $5,000. So I'm hoping that we're looking at local entertainment, because I know we have so many great youth and local entertainment that would probably perform at a fraction of that cost. So I really encourage you to look locally for the entertainment, so we can.
Both are local this year.
And then Holiday Delights Parade was fantastic this last year. There was a little snafu with the tree lighting, so hopefully we can get that corrected for this year.
I'm blaming that on the mayor.
So looking forward to seeing these numbers, because I just want to make sure we definitely support it, and we want to give you some kind of funding, but with the price going up and up, it was just it was getting a little bbit harder to try to figure out how we're going to get those funds.
Right. And, if it works into the budget at a lower amount too, we're just appreciative of you guys being able to support us in any way, And, this is a joint effort. I mean, we couldn't do this without the city of Antioch, so we're all very appreciative of, the support we get from the police department, from Public Works already. So whatever financial support you can give to help us with, financing the event is appreciated.
Do we have a motion to receive this report?
Mayor,
I'm sorry,
excuse me.
Councilmember Overchuk?
No, I was going to do that, but basically I want to make sure we clarify, because it was recommended the city council receive and discuss the request for the funding and give direction. So I believe that's basically what we've done. So I don't think do we need the motion, Mr. Simonson?
We need a motion to receive.
Okay, so moved then.
Motion to receive the report by Councilmember Overchuk. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Wilson. Please cast your votes.
There are 5 affirmative votes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So should we expect to need to come back to a council meeting, or should we just follow